Buddy. My name is Brandi Wheeler. I was just interviewed on the Keith Andrew Network, and I feel great. It was a great experience, and I definitely support what he's doing, and I feel like everyone should be watching him. And I'm really appreciative that I had the chance to be on the show. So thank you, Keith Andrew. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. I'm here with Brittany Wheeler. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show's about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove them. Sorry, your cat, it's a cute cat you have.
Oh, you can see him?
He's orange and white.
Yep, he's sitting on my bed.
I'm sorry. When I see a cute animal, it just breaks my concentration. But it helps my speech. Everyone heard it before.
Do you want me to put him outside of the room, or?
No, it's fine. Anything can happen in life. But every time I see a cute animal, I have the strong urge to get up and pet the animal. But apparently, I must pet in the computer screen, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
But hey, everyone heard the message. So long story short, turning myself into an example for people dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's a prove to them and can stand out to something. And your cat's cleaning himself, so I guess I have his or her approval. So with that being said, I see you're a cat person.
So it's funny because I have a cat. I'm more of a dog person. I love dogs, but I just don't have the time or the energy for one right now or the money. So I told myself that I really wanted to have a pet of my own. I've never actually owned a pet of my own, so I figured a cat is the easiest thing. You just feed it, change its litter, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm actually a dog person, but I love all animals, so.
No, absolutely. And it's funny you should even talk about this. I found it very surprising. Well, okay, it's on Facebook, you hold that with a grain of salt. Don't put me in that category because I've been doing this for almost 7 years. But anything you read on Facebook, don't hold it with a grain of salt. Yeah. And they said these shelters, for the first time ever, are empty. And so I found it very surprising that people, okay, it's understandable you be quarantined, you need to keep the kids occupied. Why not go out and get a new dog, or get a dog? That's a great opportunity. So the shelters, all the kill shelters, or whatever shelters you want to talk about, they're all empty. So, knock on wood, hoping, it's true and they all found a good home. And I do agree with you. I'm more of a cat person because cats are more self-reliant. Cats can be assholes too, that they will come over to you when they want to. A dog, all you have to do is clap your hands. A cat will just wave his paw at you, and that will be the end of it. But it's hard. I love both of them very much.
Yeah. My cat's kind of like a dog too. He'll greet you when you go inside the door. He'll scratching. It's not really a scratching post. It's this cardboard thing on the floor. So he'll just, I don't know, he does a scratching thing. So he'll greet you at the door. He'll run away, scratch his scratching thing, and he's obsessed, addicted to cat treats. So he's really annoying. He'll constantly meow for these cat treats, and he'll give you lovings and affections, but he really just wants his treats. And it's really annoying sometimes, but I agree. Cats are more self-sufficient, so.
I can relate to that. Mike, I have a cat. I have 4 cats and 1 dog.
Oh, wow.
And our cat, my family cat, it's named Ziggy. So every time we come out of the bathroom, every time we come downstairs, Ziggy's is yelling at us, pet me, pet me. Okay, give me treats now.
Want to hear something funny about that? Actually, his name was actually Ziggy when I originally got him, but his name's Hagen now. It matches him better. So.
Well, it's kind of funny we have that in common because when we got Ziggy, we were saying we need a good name for him. So it was either Bowie or Ziggy, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go with Ziggy." And it's kind of funny that we have that in common.
That is interesting. It's because I stuck with the name Hagen from a commercial years ago, a pet commercial, and when I got him, Ziggy didn't match because he just hung out in his cage all the time for the first month, so he didn't really leave his crate. And then eventually now he's a maniac and he's running everywhere, and I think Ziggy now fits him, but I don't know, I like the name Hagen and it's going to be his name forever, so.
No, absolutely. Now, for people who want to know that you are a professional actress and you can be a pro model because you're absolutely beautiful. So
Thank
you
you.
are a professional actress. And for the first question I was going to ask you is who influenced you to become an actress and how many years have you been acting?
So who influenced me? I can't really answer the question because I can't remember. I love you too, Gracie. I can't remember, but I've been pursuing like doing acting for over 10 years, and I've done background stuff. There's some music videos on YouTube. I have a website. I had agents over the years. They didn't work out. I've been currently, for the last 2 years, working with Shannon Lawson. She's a famous actress from Canada, and she won some awards, and I've been really seriously pursuing that career. It's a big part of me, and I can see myself doing it for the rest of my life. And always try to make connections for that, try and get myself out there, and hopefully one day I'll get a chance on the big time, the big screen, which would be awesome. That's my main goal is to get something bigger than little like music videos I've been doing or background. I don't really want to do background anymore. It kind of doesn't really go anywhere. So.
Hey, exposure is good exposure.
Honestly, in this career, it's all about connections, and for me, I don't care much about the money portion of it as long as I can get myself in front of the camera and I can get seen. That's I mean, money helps, but that's not the main reason I do it. I just do it for the exposure and getting seen. Hopefully the right person will see me, that kind of thing. So.
No, absolutely. Now, my next question I was going to ask you is, have you taken acting classes, and are you union or non-union?
So I'm assuming I was talking to my acting coach. Actually, she's coming by in a few about 30 minutes or something, and she was telling me, I'm pretty sure I'm non-union right now. I'm not with any agency either. I'm pretty much self-represented right now. And it's hard though too, because like you, I suffer with disabilities as well, physical disabilities, and it's people ask me how am I going to do acting when I have these physical disabilities, and for me, I try not to let them take over my life, because I'm a strong person, and I don't want my disability, since we're on the topic of show disabilities, to impact me in a way. So I love acting, and it's just something I love to do. So I'm pretty sure, like, answering your question, I'm non-union. I'm almost certain. So.
The reason I bring that up, not to impose on you, it's because are you based in East or West?
Like where I live?
Yeah.
Ottawa, Ontario. So I'm not sure if that's East or West.
Oh, that's East.
Okay.
It's funny. I always want to move to Canada. Who knows? If Trump becomes president, I'll probably be right behind you and move to Canada.
That's awesome. Canada is okay. I mean, if you look at the situation, the COVID issue that's going around the world, of course, and Canada is honestly really good. Really, we have good healthcare, decent healthcare. I shouldn't say it's amazing healthcare, but you have a lot more help in Canada, I find, with certain situations, and it's a nice place. And I live in the capital, so I live pretty much right there where Justin Trudeau and all those people are. So.
No, absolutely. And hey, if Joe Biden needs, that extra plus, legalize marijuana and universal health care. And actually, doesn't actually, not to talk about politics, I do apologize, I do want to ask you a question while we're on that subject. What do you feel, or do you benefit from universal health care? So anyone out there that's saying we should have universal health care, and I do agree we should have it, but what is your opinion about it?
So, my opinion, I think it's great. You get free, let's say, you go to the hospital, it doesn't cost you anything. You have to get a vaccine, it doesn't cost, well, it depends what the vaccine is. I'm not sure exactly what's covered in terms of vaccines, but I know for my daughter, she's up to date on all her vaccines, and they didn't cost me a penny or arm, and it didn't cost me my life to pay for that. So, and getting blood work is free. It's covered by your OHIP card. So if you need blood work, that's covered. But I don't agree with the fact that dental is not covered, and I think that should be covered. That really annoys me. And I think also eyes aren't covered either. And for me to get, physiotherapy, that's not covered. And I feel like if you absolutely need it, like I have degenerative arthritis in my spine and scoliosis, and I have foot problems, and I've been told, take physio, and I explained to them I can't because I can't afford it. So there's some hospitals that do cover physio, but you have to be on a waiting list. And if you've been too long with the pain, they won't take you. It's not covered anymore. And I don't agree with that. So I feel like, physio, dental, like dental's part of our mouth. It's part of our, our life. Why isn't that free? It's not covered, and it's a good amount depending on what you need. So my opinion on the new universal healthcare is great, but there are some things that could definitely be changed that the government could really be pushing towards. But unfortunately, they care more about other things than our well-being sometimes. So
No, I agree. And what it comes down to is money.
yeah, exactly. It's all about the money. All about the money. It's really frustrating.
So the next question I want to get asked you is, what is, going back to your acting, what is your biggest weakness? And then we can talk about the disability stuff in a little bit. But what is your biggest weakness to being a professional actor?
So my biggest weakness is I can get into character, but my biggest weakness is trying to get so into character where I can remember a specific situation. So let's say the director or my acting coach, when we're doing practices, she'll tell me, remember something that makes you sad so you can get really into the character. It's hard for me to think of like a situation that has hurt me, of course, in the past, or I still deal with grief from certain situations, but during acting I can't get into that grief, if you understand. It's hard to explain. So I guess getting in the situation mentally, like I can do something, get angry or whatever, but it's hard for me to mentally get into my mind the situation at that time, if that makes sense. It's really hard to explain it.
No, I understand. And what is your biggest, what is what is your biggest strength?
I think my biggest strength now, since I've been doing it a lot, like further into it, is I'm better at getting into the character now. My biggest strength would be now versus, not being able to mentally get into the character versus, past situations. I can get myself into character, sitting here or something. And I find, staying to the character for, let's say, 24 hours could be tiring, but I feel like that could be a big strength of mine for sure. I've gotten a lot better with acting over the years, and I don't punctuate my words properly. Sometimes I'll say something and it doesn't come out right. And let's say I'm saying a word, I can't say an example, but let's say there's a word like penguin. I'll be like penguin without the G or something. I can say penguin, it's just an example, but punctuation, my words could be a lot better too. So
No, I agree with you. And I give you an example, when I said pronounce by your last name, to me it sounds like I'm saying it right, but it's realer. It's like, will but it's the same thing as pronunciation. It's part of disability. And you shouldn't be hard on yourself. I should know. I'm my own worst enemy.
Everyone has their own situations right in their life, so no one should judge people based on that.
No, absolutely. And the next question I was going to ask you is, what was one of your biggest achievements on being a professional actor?
On the back of my head, I've done background, but one thing I can definitely pick out of my head is I was in this music video for the Ottawa International Film Festival, and I didn't realize this, but they had me as one of the main characters, and it's really great because it's a professional music video, and people can you see on YouTube, and it was shown at a festival, which is great. Or recently I'm in post production right now, but I have a group of people and friends that are actually filming my movie right now. So it's called Occurrence of the Day. Once this COVID is done, we'll be able to finish the scene, but we might have to redo all the movie again because it doesn't look that great. I'd say honestly, those two things are definitely the things I can think of that I've achieved the most. But I've done a lot of things in acting, but that I can think of would be those two. So
No, I agree. Now, and you did mention you have a disability, hint to show, but you don't, as I said to other people, you don't have to have a disability to be on the show. Yes, it's nice to have people with disabilities on the show, but I'm mostly turning myself into an example. Long story about that, won't bore you with the details. But this next question kind of fits that, is what do you expect to accomplish being a professional actress with a disability?
I'd like for accomplishment definitely go further outside of Ottawa. I went to Los Angeles back in January for an audition. They didn't pay for anything. I paid for it myself with my partner. Him and I went up, and they didn't get back to me, but we paid for that ourselves, and it was great. So that was that's a good achievement. But I'd like to do more of that, getting out of Canada. I have a passport so I can travel, and I'm willing to travel. I have a kid, but my boyfriend watches her, so I can go whenever I need to. And definitely what I'm expecting out of this is definitely to become more into films and whatnot, hopefully commercials or something, become more well-known kind of thing, and hopefully get myself out there more, because I'm always trying to get myself out there. And this career that I've been pursuing, it's one of the hardest careers I think of I can think of to actually try to pursue, other than music and other situations in people's life. This is definitely a hard career. It's very competitive, going against a lot of people, and it's really difficult. But I definitely want to see myself being out there more, hopefully get seen, go to bigger movies, or my main goal is to be a main character in a movie or a commercial or something like that. So
No, it's why I keep saying I know I agree with you. I'm trying to find out a different word to use, but you're right. It is cutthroat. You have, and it's not to say like it's a doggy dog world. It's who it's a connections. You have to have a passion for it, right? And you can't do things half-ass. I should know because I did things half-ass, saying, "Oh, I will try it now and see where it goes," just to kill time. But you need to be 100% certified, saying this is, and satisfied, saying this is what you want to do for the rest of your life.
yeah.
For me, being a talk show host, I found something that I enjoy. And I want to do it until I'm 6 feet under. I'm not saying that to be cute or funny, but this is what really makes me happy, getting myself out there. Now, for you, for being an actress, it's not guaranteed work. There's hundreds and thousands of auditions, so you need to put your heart and soul into each of them and show you why. It's like saying if when you look into somebody's eyes, you can see into their soul. It's one of the lines from my favorite cartoon where Batman's taking on Owlman, and it's like we both looked into the abyss, but the difference is you blinked, or something along those lines. But the point is, you need to be very passionate about what you're doing. So if you focusing on acting, that's all you should be focused on. And then
Yep.
it's the different parts of acting you can do. There's voiceovers, there's commercial work, any exposure that you can get yourself out there. And the more people you meet and the more connections you can create will benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the other question I was going to ask you, going back to the disabilities, is was there ever a time where you had a conflict, or actually, how would I rephrase this? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Was there ever a challenge or a conflict that you ever had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
Regarding to disability, so with acting, no. But for part-time jobs or full-time jobs, regular employment, that's definitely caused me a lot of issues because I have a foot problem and I require a stool. And a lot of jobs they don't like that.
Yeah,
Even though it depends on the job you're doing, I can still do the same job as the next person. I just need to sit sometimes or whatnot. And that's caused me a lot of problems with getting even part-times and full-times jobs. But I found 2 jobs where they worked with it, but that's definitely been a challenge getting a job because of disability situations. Like that's definitely been a big part of it, and that's another thing that I wish the world understood more about that kind of stuff, but they don't, and it's very very frustrating. So yeah, definitely I've been able to get jobs, but it's been very very difficult regarding it. So.
no, I actually worked with somebody who was in a wheelchair, and he was a grader. And it's 6 months. When they hired him, it's like, oh yeah, he's in a wheelchair, but he's gonna be a grader. 6 months went by, didn't bother him. After the 6 months, like, yeah, you can't be grader anymore because the stupid thing came out where like, oh, being a grader, you have to climb a ladder. Well, it's funny, but it's not funny. They said to be a grader, you have to climb a ladder while holding 25 pounds, and then you have to greet people at the same time. Yeah, that's great. But what's that have to be doing as a great? Yeah, I'm going to hold this giant brick over here, and I'm going to climb this imaginary ladder and look down and say, hello down there. It's
Yeah.
stupid. And you hire someone knowing they're in a wheelchair, then you just randomly change your mind saying, we don't want you in this position anymore. Yeah, anyway, it's a lot of discrimination about people with disabilities. It's just more motivation for us to say we're gonna prove you wrong.
No, keep pursuing, keep pushing forward. That doesn't make any sense what you said to be a greeter, because I was a hostess at a restaurant once, and that's greeting. You don't. I'd never seen a greeter at my old workplace or anywhere else. I'm aware of that stands on a ladder. I feel like they're just trying to get rid of him or
Yeah,
her.
that's pretty much the long story about that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take a quick commercial break real fast. When we come back, I'm gonna ask you about social media. Social media, can it make you or break you? And then I'm gonna pass the show over to you with the remaining time.
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spink.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becky Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew, along here is Brandi Railway. I just want to say thank you for sticking with us. Plus the last 8 minutes left of the show. Before I pass it over to you, there's 2 things I do want to run past you. One is social media. Can social media make you or break you? And the other thing that we're talking about in the beginning of the show about, you should get like acting roles and you should take every opportunity. For me, I used to work in Woodbury Commons. And there was actually on that day, when I see an opportunity, I have to take it no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's by myself or with my family. If I see an opportunity and a light bulb goes off, I have to take it. So one day when I was being dropped at work, at the time I was working at Toys R Us, but funny enough, they actually came back. But when I was working at Toys R Us, I was like, I have some time before I have to punch in. So I went over, say where Calvin Klein's was, and Miss Spider. And I feel it was on the opposite side. So it's near Spider, Calvin Klein, long story short, just trying to give you an idea. And I was like, looks like they're actually doing some videos, or they're doing commercials. And I went over, and it's like, oh, who's in charge here? Like, like a schmuck. I went over and said, who's in charge here? And they all looked at me. It's like, who are you? Are you an actor? I said, no, I'm something better than an actor. What's that? I'm a talk show host who has a disability. And I was waiting for someone to drop a pin, or waiting for like a tumbleweed to kind of bounce it wrong. And they said, oh, interesting. And they started to walk away, and they go, well, before you just randomly assume that I'm a nobody, let me explain who I am. And I introduced myself, said my name's Keith Andrew, told them the concept of my show. And they're like, okay, well, first off, that's really inspirational what you're doing for people with disabilities. Second of all, I don't know if it really relates to what we're doing right here. Understandable, because I'm not in SAGs or an actor. And I said, but wouldn't it be nice to have someone with disabilities? Because I used the disability card. I said, wouldn't it be nice to have someone with disabilities be in the background? And they're like, you really want to be in here? Yep. And I'm like, oh, well, here's the thing. We can have you part of the commercial, but we don't know if we're going to use you. And that's going what you were saying about being an actor, or being an extra. You can be, because I was actually thinking about being an extra, you can be on set for 16 hours, but it doesn't mean you're going to be guaranteed a spot. So the guy said to me, if you want to hang around, and if there's a possibility we could use you for a background, that's great. Personally, I think you're wasting your time, because we have our set people here. But if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to. Of course, I went over to the actors and I introduced myself. I never heard back from any of them. No surprise. They probably thought I was like a con artist. So, I got to see what it was like to be on a set, setting up, the commercials. Of course, they chased me away after a while, because they just said, you're distracting people. Plus, I had to go to work. But it's kind of like, in a way, yes, I am not an actor, but doing the talk show, it's kind of like, it's a nice little portfolio. It's a nice little project that you're saying, I'm making connections. I'm slowly, becoming friends with some of the celebrities, actors, actresses. So it's like you're saying, it's who you know. But anyway, that's my little story about being on an acting set. But
Cool.
the last question I want to ask you, then passing it over to you. Social media. Does your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do any of these followings matter if you should be in an acting role, if an agent should work with you, if it's good enough to get an agent? What is your opinion? Passing the show over to you.
So I personally feel like, and with my acting coach, it can do both. It can make you or break you. What I mean by that is it can make you because for me, I practice my monologues. I tend to post them on Facebook. I'll post them on Instagram. I'll post them wherever. I don't really have Twitter. I do have Twitter, but I don't really use it. But so I'll post my monologues, or, there's stuff I've been in on, there's links on YouTube, that kind of thing. So I'll post it, or, I'll write things on Facebook. But what I mean by it can break you is what my acting coach has warned me too, is you gotta be careful what you write on social media, because, if a producer sees that and they don't like it, they could, not choose you, and it could make you have a bad name in the acting community. So I think it can go both ways. And I used to be a lot less careful what I post on social media. Now I'm a lot better at it now that I'm older. But at the time when I was a teenager, I didn't care. I posted whatever I want. And my opinion a few years ago was, it's my Facebook. If you don't like it, you don't have to look. But since, I'm into the acting scenario, the acting scene, it's very important that I, as an actress, be careful what I post, what videos I post, not just my acting, I mean in general, videos from YouTube. Like, if there's swearing, for example, you probably shouldn't post that if you're into acting or any profession, really. If you find a monologue YouTube video, that's a good thing to post because it's showing, skills in monologue or it helps you. So, I mean, it really depends on, what kind of person you are and what you're into. Or, like, let's say your Facebook profile pic has you flipping the bird at, someone. No one's going to look at you because they're going to think, oh, this person clearly doesn't care. And why would we want that kind of person, on set? So, yeah, it's definitely can make you or break you. It really depends on, what you post. And you just got to be very careful on what you post and, look before you post, make sure there's no swearing, any content that would be inappropriate, that kind of thing. So that's just my personal opinion, and I'm sure you can agree, or my acting coach, if she was here, she would definitely agree with that because she's told me, like I said, to be careful what I post. So.
No, I agree. Was there any funny stories that you wanted to share? Any new projects? Well, apparently it's hard to do projects when we're all in freaking lockdown. But hey, I'm making focus on doing acting skits. That's a new project for you. Do like acting skits. Focus on your YouTube presence. Have you felt like you're in a rut because you want to do so much, but at the same time, I'll give you an example. For me, because I'm focused on breaking into the entertainment world and being more of an entertainer, so I can make videos till I'm blue in the face. And I also try doing a couple audition tapes. If you're actually an expert in that, maybe can you give me some pointers? But you can do audition tapes. But have you felt like, for an example, you mentioned you were doing that film, and people say things will not go back to normal until we have a vaccine. And that's the truth. Things will not go back to normal until we get a vaccine. But do you think your hands are handcuffed, that there's certain things you can and cannot do? And do you think it hurts your career?
So I feel my hands are tied pretty much most of the time with acting because the right person hasn't seen me yet. Like you said, you can make videos till you turn blue. That's what I do. I make these videos just for the purpose of trying to be seen. And my issue, quarantine or not, is being seen and getting myself out there and having my name out there and actually having a chance to prove myself. I've done, like I said, background. I've done YouTube. There's music videos. But I'm not where I'd like to be yet. And it's very frustrating, trying to get these connections. And it's just, that's why I went to Los Angeles. I had the audition. And I went all the way up there to prove to them, I'm very serious about this. You're not going to pay for me. That's fine. I'm going to pay out of my pocket. I'm going to go all the way there. I'm going to, train myself, practice the monologue, make sure I know it off by heart, wear the proper, attire that she would wear in the script. And I did all that not for nothing, but I didn't get any response back from it. And I'm just trying to, break myself into the network, like you're saying. I'm seriously trying to break myself into this industry that it feels, for me, almost impossible to get into. And I feel like, one minute I feel like, oh, I'm up here, like, oh my gosh, it might be my chance. And then it's just like, boom, again. And I'm always, emailing, agencies, trying to connect with agencies. And Ottawa is not the place to be. So I try to expand my horizon. And I have a passport. And just, it's a very frustrating thing for me because I'm so big and I have a passion and I want to do this despite my other issues I have. This is what I can see myself doing for the rest of my life. And I'm serious about it. And whether or not, like I said, there's a virus going around, which yes, it does kind of stop things, but I don't really have the greatest connections right now anyways either. So, I'm on some acting websites. I'm getting some, stuff through that, but it's not any well-known movie or anything. And I really want to see myself in, a movie or something that's well-known, that kind of thing. So that's my struggle. It's the connections part and having the right person, a producer anywhere in the world sees me, that I can prove to myself, to them, that, I'm worth it. Give me a chance. And it's really frustrating. It's been a struggle for pretty much over 10 years, and I feel like at this point, I've been doing it for 10 years, I should be somewhere right now. I shouldn't be in Ottawa. I should be in Los Angeles right now. I should be, I don't know, somewhere in Toronto maybe doing a film, but I haven't been given the correct opportunities yet. So that's just my problem right now in the last 10 years. So.
No, absolutely. And, this, actually, while we're wrapping up the show, I do want to plug this. This June 13th, live on Zoom, because you can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Live, can't say that was a straight face. This June, on the 13th, at about 5 p.m., you will get to see the not live, pre-recorded, but then it will be streamed everywhere. It's going to be my 70-year anniversary party, and I would love to have you a part of that, add you to the list. So I would tell my story, what have I been doing for 70 years, all the struggles, all the nice people, all the, jackasses that I had to go through, permission forms, no permission forms. You get to hear the whole spiel. So make sure, go my, I will add you on Facebook. Definitely send you an invite. Love to have you there. Wrapping up our show, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, and I want you to be completely brutally honest. When I first approached you, what was your first reaction to the email? What made you say yes? And after being a guest on the show, how do you feel now? And would you recommend it?
So at first, it gets a little iffy at first just because I've had so many disappointments in acting and things. I've had, for example, I met up with this one guy and he said he might be able to give me a role in something. And I said, okay. And he had me go all the way there to read the script, to read for someone. And when I was sitting there, he gave me nothing to read. He gave everyone else something to read, but not me. And he completely ignored my existence. I felt really low. And maybe that's how I felt with you. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But there's definitely definitely gotta be on guard. And I saw you had all these connections. I was like, oh, great. Being on the show, it could help me and, that kind of thing. And now that I've been on the show, I enjoy it more now because I've actually had an opportunity to talk to you. And I would definitely, I think it's great that you're doing what you're doing because I struggle with disabilities myself. And it's good to see that, there are people that aren't going to give up because, I can actually relate versus someone that might not be able to relate as well. Not saying they can't relate, but it's a lot easier to relate when you suffer with the disabilities too. So not to be the main point of that, obviously, of the show, but it's a good thing. So I can definitely say, it's great that I have this opportunity now for sure. Join your June 12th.
June 13th.
June 13th. See, that's why you gotta remind me because I'll forget.
No, absolutely. Now, how can people follow you on social media? Are you on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn?
So I can get all my info right now. So I have Facebook. My Facebook account is Brandi Wheeler /Primo. It's a picture of me and my boyfriend and I. On my Instagram, it's Brandi_Wheeler27. On my LinkedIn, see, I have to look at all this because I haven't memorized everything. On my LinkedIn,
I would recommend just having in top 4: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Those are the only 4 that you really need. Or you can knock it down to the main 3: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
That's true. So if we're going to Instagram, it's Brandi_Wheeler27. My LinkedIn is just Brandi Wheeler. There's a picture of me wearing a pink shirt. Brandi_Wheeler27 is my Instagram, and my Facebook is Brandi Wheeler /Primo. And there's a picture of my daughter in the background, a picture of my boyfriend and I on my main profile pic. I also have TikTok if anyone has TikTok, but I don't. That's not really.
Who has TikTok?
I mean, I use it for acting. I also go there to post my acting too. So as you can see, I'm really seriously trying to get seen and get noticed. So it's really big, the connection part. So.
No, absolutely, and you should definitely use your Twitter more.
Yeah, I should use that. That's for sure. I definitely use LinkedIn for sure a lot. And definitely Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is my main go-to when I, with social media. I should use Only recently I've been using LinkedIn more, trying to connect more. It was mostly just Instagram and Facebook for a while, so.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up our talk show, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.